Hello, everybody. So, today from this chapter, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the westward expansion and the effects that it had on Native Americans. So, as we know, Native Americans were pushed out of their lands and forced westward. They hoped to reestablish a permanent home and resist further injustices from the American government and its citizens. They were commanded to move west of the Mississippi due to the Indian Removal Act, placed by Andrew Jackson, as we learned in previous chapters. However, this security in the West didn't last long, as the American government had previously obtained that land in the Louisiana Purchase. Then, eventually, while innovations and trade developed, agriculture grew and required expansion as space grew little for other Americans east of the Mississippi River. Americans began to push their way past the Mississippi into the West. Besides this, curiosity and hope pushed many Americans to explore the West to encounter new opportunities and possible riches. This was part of the idea of manifest destiny. They believed that it was a duty to settle the continent, conquer, and prosper, leading to further expansion beyond the Mississippi. They began to blaze trails across the plains to reach new territories out west. Famous trails are known as the California Trail, the Mormon Trail, the Oregon Trail, the Santa Fe Trail, and the Spanish Trail. This meant continued violence and abuse to Native Americans who occupied these lands. Many were victims of violence, diseases brought on by pioneers, and the radical effects of their settlement. This led to the death of about 120,000 Native Americans. One factor that led to the mass migration of the West was the golden fever that hit California. Many flocked their ways to California to try their luck in striking gold and getting rich. This had negative impacts on the environment. Rivers were clogged with sediment, forests were cut down to produce timber, the ecosystem and soil were polluted with chemicals from the mining process. This not only harmed the environment but also affected the local Native Americans. This and the presence of these pioneers disrupted their hunting and fishing grounds as well as their farming. Some Native Americans were even forced to aid in mining in return for low wages or a share of uncertain profits. So, as these pioneers made their way to the West, despite the challenges that they faced on the trails and the many casualties that they experienced, they also had a big negative impact on um, these tribes that were already established in these areas, and it led to the destruction of many of these people of these groups. And not only that, it drastically changed a lot of the ecosystem and environment in California as they ravaged the lands for gold and hope to increase their wealth. And so these are some of the impacts that westward expansion had on Native Americans and some of the stuff that we learned from this chapter. And that's all I have for today. So thank you.